Good morning. Continuing with our topic, we come to part 3. In part 3, we are to derive an expression for the force between two parallel thin current carrying conductors of infinite length. Now, in order to derive the expression, we are to develop physical situation. Consider two parallel thin conductors of infinite length marked as conductor 1 and conductor 2, carrying current I1 and I2 respectively, placed r distance apart in vacuum as shown. Now see the diagram. This is conductor 1, this is conductor 2. Conductor 1 is carrying current I1 and conductor 2 is carrying current I2. Both are placed r distance apart in vacuum. Now this is the situation where we are to work at. Now in the second step, we proceed for the force on conductor 1 due to conductor 2. We mark it as F12. Consider small current element dl1 of conductor 1. Small current element dl1 of conductor 1. Now conductor 1 is placed in uniform magnetic field B2 equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I2 by r k cap due to conductor 2. Now this conductor is carrying current I2 and it will have a magnetic field around it. Then conductor 1 is placed in the magnetic field of conductor 2, which is directed outward along positive z-axis. K cap means positive x-axis. So we have shown it by dots. The dots show the field is directed outward. Now then, force on small current element dl1, say dF12 is equal to I1 dl1 cross B2. Let us mark it as equation 1. It is vectorial expression of the small force on small current element dl1 due to conductor 2. And then we are to find out its magnitude and direction. Let us find out magnitude of the force. Now this is equation 1, it is vectorial expression of force on conductor 1 due to conductor 2. The magnitude of dF12 can be expressed as mod dF12 is equal to I1 mod dl1 mod b2 sin theta, because it is cross product. How we write cross product? We write cross product as mod dl1 mod b2 sin theta, but theta between dl1 and b2 is equal to pi by 2, because this is the direction of current flow and field is in this direction. So angle between dl1 and b2 is 90, pi by 2. So we write it as I1 mod dl1 mod b2 sin pi by 2, because sin pi by 2 is 1. So we write it as mod dF12 equal to I1 mod dl1 mod b2. Let us mark it as equation number 2. Now fourth step, force on length L1 of conductor 1. Because conductor is of infinite length, we take a section of its length which is L1. We consider a section of length of this infinite conductor. Now consider a portion of conductor 1 of length L1. The force on this section L1 can be obtained by integrating equation 2 over length L1. Therefore, integration dF12 is equal to integration 0 to L1 I1 mod dL1 mod B2. Let us mark it as equation number 3. Equation 3 we rewrite as integration mod dF12 is equal to I1 B2 integration 0 to L1 mod dL1. Now after integrating this equation dF12 we write it as F12 and it is equal to I1 B2 L1 integration dL1 we write as L1 because it is from 0 to L1. After evaluating it will come out to be L1 and we rewrite it as equal to I1 L1 B2 L1 we brought in between I1 L1 B2, mark it as equation number 4. Now substituting the value of B2 is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I2 by R, already we have mentioned it. In equation 4 we have mod F12 is equal to I1 L1 mu 0 over 2 pi I2 by R. Replace B2 equal to this mu 0 by 2 pi I2 by R and it is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I1 I2 by R. Mu 0 by 2 pi I1 I2 by R into L1. So this is the force F12 is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I1 I2 by R into L1 on section of length L1 of conductor 1 due to conductor 2. Now we require to find out force per unit length because this is an infinite conductor. So if we know force per unit length, we can calculate force on any length of the conductor. The force per unit length of conductor 1 due to conductor 2, that is equal to F12 divided by L1, and from this equation we bring L1 below it and we are left with the remaining part mu 0 by 2 pi I1 I2 by R. So force per unit length of conductor 1 due to conductor 2 is equal to mu 0 over 2 pi I1 I2 by R. Mark it as equation 5. Now since force is a vector quantity, it must possess direction. So what is the direction? Direction you can find out by Fleming's left hand rule. How is Fleming's left hand rule? You are familiar with this. Field is outside, current is upward, then force will be towards conductor 2. Force will be towards conductor 2. So it is towards conductor 2. The force will be, it will be towards conductor 2, F12. Now similarly, we are to consider force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. Let us find. So let us calculate force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. Say F21. Force on conductor 2 due to conductor 1. Now consider small current element dL2 of conductor 2. Small current element dL2 of conductor 2. Now since conductor 2 is placed in the magnetic field of conductor 1. Now this conductor is placed in the magnetic field of conductor 1. It is carrying current in this direction, and the direction of the field in which conductor 2 is placed will be as shown. You use right hand grip rule. Here field will be inward. Conductor 2 is placed in field which is directed along negative z axis. It is directed along negative z axis. Okay. So then small force dF21 on small current element dL2 is given by the expression dF21 is equal to I2 dL2 cross product with B1. So how much will be B1? So B1 is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi into I1 divided by R. The value of B1 is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I1 by R minus K cap. Minus K cap means the field is directed along negative z axis, that is directed inward. Here it is directed inward. So small force dF21 on small current element dL2 is given by the expression dF21 is equal to I2 dL2 cross B1. Or let us evaluate its magnitude. So magnitude of dF21 will be equal to I2 mod dL2 mod B1 sin theta. But theta is again pi by 2 because field is directed inward and current is going upward. So angle is pi by 2. Now we write this expression, we write the value of theta as pi by 2. So it can be written as I2 dL2 B1 sin pi by 2, and sin pi by 2 is 1. So we write mod dF12 equal to I2 B1 mod dL2. Let us mark it as equation number 6. Now 8th step, force on section L2 of conductor 2. The force on section L2 of conductor 2 can be obtained by integrating equation 6. Can be obtained by integrating equation 6 from 0 to L2. So we get integration dF21 is equal to integration I2 mod B1 mod dL2, and it is equal to I2 mod B1 into mod L2. Integration of dL2 is L2. From 0 to L2, if you evaluate, it will be L2. Or we write mod F21 is equal to I2 L2 B1. Let us mark it as equation number 7. Now equation 7 gives us the magnitude of the force on section L2 of conductor 2 due to conductor 1. Now this is the magnitude. Now let us see further. We substitute the value of B1. Substituting the value of B1 equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I1 by R in equation 7, we get mod F21 is equal to I2 L2 into mu 0 by 2 pi I1 by R. It is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I2 I1 by R into L2. We write this afterwards, and then I2 here. Let us mark it as equation number 8. Now this equation number 8 gives us the magnitude of the force on section L2 of the conductor 2. Now we have to find out force per unit length of conductor 2 due to conductor 1. So from equation 8, this equation, we bring this L2 below it, F21 divided by L2 is equal to mu 0 over 2 pi into I2 I1 by R. Let us mark it as equation 9. Now, direction. Direction, how we find direction? Using Fleming's left hand rule, we find direction. So it will be towards conductor 1. How? See this hand, left hand, separate forefinger, middle finger and thumb at right angle to each other. Then forefinger indicates direction of magnetic field. Forefinger indicates direction of magnetic field. Middle finger indicates direction of current flow, conventional current flow. Thumb indicates direction of force. So it will be along conductor 2. Force F21. So see, the force F12 is along conductor 2 and F21 is along conductor 1. It means the nature of force is attractive when current flows along same direction. Nature of force is attractive when current flows along same direction, and it would be repulsive when current flows in opposite direction. When current flows in opposite direction, force will be repulsive. So you have to take care of it, the direction of current flow. When current flows in same direction, then the nature of force is attractive, and when current flows in opposite direction, the nature of force becomes repulsive. Now look at this expression. Force per unit length of conductor 2 due to conductor 1, and force per unit length of conductor 1 due to conductor 2. Now see this, F12 is equal to per unit length L1 is equal to mu 0 over 2 pi I1 I2 by R. This is the previous expression, previous case. Now this is here, this case. Now you see the expressions is same. Force per unit length is same whether it is on conductor 1 or it is on conductor 2. So force per unit length is mu 0 by 2 pi I1 I2 divided by R. I1 I2 divided by R. I1 I2 divided by R. So this is how we are to deal with this topic. Now you remember this expression and how to find out direction, how to derive the expression, how to deal with direction. So you take care of all these things and keep in mind. Let us define ampere, the SI unit of electric current. Since we know force per unit length between two parallel thin conductors of infinite length is given by the expression F by L is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I1 I2 by R. Let us mark it as equation 1. This formula we have derived. Now see, these are two conductor thin parallel infinite conductors carrying current I1 I2 in same direction. So there will be an attractive force between them, and here they are carrying current in opposite direction, and there will be repulsive force between them. So this we have already studied. Now when I1 is equal to I2 is equal to 1 ampere and R is equal to 1 meter. R is equal to 1 meter. R is equal to 1 meter. Okay. They are placed in vacuum. They are placed in vacuum. Now, we substitute these values I1 equal to I2 equal to 1 ampere and R equal to 1 meter in this expression. We get F by L, force per unit length, is equal to, we substitute the value of mu 0 as 4 pi into 10 raised to power minus 7 and 2 pi as it is, I1, I2 1 ampere, R 1 meter. And if we simplify it, we come to force per unit length equal to 2 into 10 raised to power minus 7 Newton per meter. Now we define ampere on this data. Now 1 ampere is that steady current which flows in two parallel thin infinite conductors placed in vacuum 1 meter apart, produce an attractive or repulsive force of 2 into 10 raised to power minus 7 Newton per meter between them. I repeat, 1 ampere is that steady current which flows in two parallel thin infinite conductors placed in vacuum 1 meter apart, produce an attractive or repulsive force of 2 into 10 raised to power minus 7 Newton per meter between them. So this is the definition of ampere. It is a standard definition of ampere that we have learned in 11th class also in the chapter of physical world and measurement. Now we come to discussion. Force per unit length of conductor 1 as well as conductor 2 is given by the expression F by L is equal to mu 0 by 2 pi I1 I2 by R in this situation. Now first point, force per unit length is independent of lengths of conductors because there is anywhere either L1 or L2. It is force per unit length. Second point, it directly depends upon magnitudes of current I1 and I2 flowing through conductors. Directly depends upon I1 and I2, the currents flowing through conductors. Number 3, it is inversely proportional to distance between them. It is in inverse proportion. Force per unit length is inversely proportional to distance between them. The distance is R. And fourth point is, it depends directly upon absolute permeability of the medium between them and is given by Fa is equal to mu R F naught, where mu R is absolute permeability, it is the relative permeability, mu R is relative permeability of the medium between the conductors, and F naught is the force between the two conductors in vacuum. Now fifth point, when current flows in same direction, nature of force is attractive. Same direction, nature of force is attractive. And when it flows in opposite direction, nature of force is repulsive. When current flows in opposite direction, the nature of force will be repulsive. Now this is about discussion. After this, we proceed to assignment. Some questions, as usual, you solve questions after learning a topic. Okay, thank you so much.